There are several types of modifications or copy operations that you may want to use in conjunction with lists. So if I start off with a list, maybe I have some values here, and a common scenario is perhaps that I need to get this list into a specific order. So instead of writing my own sort routine, I can just use the built-in one for lists. So this does an in-place sorting of the values, and you'll notice that it's an ascending source. So now the values go from lowest to highest. In some cases, you may need or want to do a descending sort, and to do that you can specify the optional reverse parameter to the sort, and now you see that we have a descending sort of the list. Items go from largest to smallest. If we start over with our kind of randomized order of values, in some cases you might want to just reverse the order of the list, and in that case you would use the reverse method. So we've just completely swapped the order. The value that was last is now first, and the value that was first is now last. And so that can be a real time saver instead of writing your code to do that yourself. The probably most common mistake with lists is thinking that you have a copy of a list when in fact you actually have a reference to a list. So if you do something like this, you would think maybe you had a copy of A now because B looks just like A does. But note that if I modify a value in B, of course, B is modified. But if we go back to A has also been modified. And that's because B and A are both references, or sometimes called pointers, to the same list object. And you can either do this little experiment of modifying values and checking what happens, or you can also use the is operator. A is B is saying true, so that means that A and B are both the same references to the same list object. So what would I need to do if I truly wanted a copy of B that I could make independent changes of and not affect A? To do that, I would import the copy module, and I would actually make a copy of A. So now A and B look the same, but note that things are a little bit different now. If I make a modification to B, of course B is certainly changed, but now A is no longer changed because A and B are different references to different objects. And again, we could confirm that with the is check, and we would see that A is B is false, indicating that A and B are not references to the same list.